Okay, so here we go. Practice test.
The videos we get right before verse.
Test is Wednesday. Practice test 3. Here we go. And guys, you need to focus. I know it's the last period and you're all excited about something, but we need to focus. All right, so we have 3 systems of equations, and we are going to solve them using substitution, elimination, and Precal. So, here we go. I think that's the name. All right, here we go. Substitution first. Got to do it the right way or you don't get credit, okay? Is it Dane? Yeah. So here we go. How do I do substitution? What's that strategy? I have to get a variable by itself. And in this case, it's going to be real easy. Maybe I'll say x equals negative y. Or I could say y equals negative x. It doesn't matter. All right, so I went this way. So this is my x. So it's going to get plugged in right there. So negative 2y plus 3y equals negative 1. Well, that worked out nicely. So y equals negative 1. But we're not done, are we? Because we still need x. Okay, so what do? How do I get x? Plug in negative 1 for y. Is x positive 1 then?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, now we're moving on. This is Dane and Joseph, JJ. All right, elimination. How does that work? I'm done with that. Finish that one. Now we're moving on. How do I eliminate? So maybe it would be easiest to multiply this by negative 3. Does that seem okay to everyone? Why is no one talking to me today? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So negative 7x equals 7, so x equals negative 1. And then what? Again, you're not done because you need to find an ordered pair, right? So if x is negative 1, then I'll plug it in somewhere. I'll just plug it in here. So x is negative 1, so that's going to be negative 2 plus 3y equals negative 8. I got negative 2, but I don't know about my arithmetic. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Everybody's happy? All right. Now we're done with Algebra 1 and we're ready to do a pre-cal problem now. We're going to solve using Kramer's rule. So what's our strategy here? You make determinants. So the first determinant I make is just with my x's and y's. So my x coefficients are 2 and 3, my y coefficients are negative 1 and 5. Right? What is that? 10, negative 3, and I'm subtracting. Did you get 13?
Yeah.
And remember, it's a problem just like these. So my answer is going to be an answer that looks like this. Only this time, they're going to be fractions, and their denominator is going to be 13. Now I need the numerators. Where do they come from?
You take the outside number.
So these guys right here are now gonna get plugged in for either the x coefficients or the y coefficients. So if I put them in for x, I'll have my 7, 1, and then my negative 1, 5. If I put them in for y, I have 2, 3, 7, 1. And then I evaluate these. So 35 minus negative 1, that's a 36. 2 minus 21, that's a negative 19, and there you go. Remember, if it reduces, cancels, whatever, do it. But in this case, we are finished. Right there. All good? Page 1, done. All right, page 2. All the matrix operations. And remember, on this page, sometimes the answer will be no answer. Do not be alarmed if that happens. All right, A times D. Before I write it out, can I do it?
Yes.
The dimensions of A are 2 by 3, and the dimensions of D are 3 by 3, so that is a doable problem. You okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, A, and then D. And I'm gonna end up with another 2 by 3. All right, so here we go. Remember how this works? Row by column. So take the numbers in row 1 and multiply them by the numbers in column 1. Multiply each pair and add them up. So it looks like for that first entry, I will get 7. Then I repeat 5 more times. For this blank, I'm still in row 1, but now I'll use column 2. Right? Now you keep going. You have to be able to do this by yourself. So just pay attention, take whatever row you're in, times whatever column you're in. And let's see what you come up with. See what you can come up with there. Anybody got numbers for me? What'd you get here? -1, okay, here? 9, 10. Let's see if that's what I got. Yep, that's what I got. Anybody need us to work through any of those? Good? All right. C plus 2A. Why won't it work? They aren't the same dimensions. That's exactly right. Remember, for addition and subtraction, the dimensions have to be the same. How about 2b minus 3c? That'll work. So what is 2b? 2b would be -2, 4, 6, 2. Minus, okay, what's 3c? -6, 6, 15, 3. Everybody okay? All right, now I'll subtract entry by entry. So -2 minus -6. 4. That's 4.
Oh.
That's -2 plus 6. 4 minus 6. 6 minus 15. And 2 minus 3. There we go. Beautiful. What's happening in the next problem? What am I supposed to be doing here? Finding the inverse, which is going to be a matrix. And the original matrix is -1, 2, 3, 1. So how do I go about finding the inverse? Find the determinant. So the determinant would be -1 minus 6, -7. Right? That means that just like with Kramer's rule, it means all of these are going to be over -7. Just like with Kramer's rule, that number becomes the denominator of everything. All right, where do the numerators come from this time? Take these two and switch them. Now, because of the numbers that they are, it looks like I'm changing their signs, but I'm not. I'm actually flipping these guys and then changing the sign on the other two. So those are my numerators. Anybody have a question about that? Now clean it up. So what cleans up? Well, anytime you have a negative over a negative, they cancel. So I can get rid of all those. And I think that's it. Everybody okay? Don't let me make a mistake. I made a couple already today. You okay? All right, -2b. Can I do that? Yeah, you can always multiply by scalar, always. So -2b will be 2, -4, -6, -2. Five seconds, done. And finally, BD. Angel's back there, no. Angel, you had a birthday, I heard on the announcements. Happy birthday, and so did you, Uresi? Huh?
Oh, thank you.
The 8th.
The 8th?
The 8th.
Oh, Aiden had a birthday too? Wow. Good birthday Aiden in here, awesome. And you're all 18 now? You know what that means. Big people jail, so be good. Good.
Yeah, true.
Okay, BD, can I do it? No, because it's a 2 by 2 times a 3 by 3. And when you multiply 2 by 2, 3 by 3, these have to match. If they don't, you can't do it. Okay. Now we have a bigger determinant to do. Do you all remember how to do this?
No, you take the
Take these guys right here and copy them over here. Don't change them around. Don't do it, just recopy them. Now, multiply and get 9. Multiply and get -4. Multiply and get 0. So that, multiply, total them up, gives me 5. Other way, that one is 24. That one is -2. And that one is 0, so that gives me a 22. So these were 5, these were 22. What do I do with those two numbers? Subtract. And it must be in that order. It must be 5 minus 22. So the answer is -17. Okay? All right. Now, answer the following. Okay. Is B a square matrix? No, because it has 3 rows and 4 columns. So it says, why or why not? So you gotta write down, why not? Because it doesn't have the same dimensions. It has 3 rows and 4 columns. What is B sub 2, 3? It's -2. What does that mean? Go to the second row, 3rd column, and what number is sitting there? -2. -2. Oh, we already said this. What are the dimensions of E? 3 by 4. What's a scalar? A real number. That's right. You don't. That's all you need to say. You can describe it further if you want. But basically, in matrix land and vector land, a scalar is simply a real number. They appear as coefficients out here in our problems, but it's a real number. You can say that acts as a coefficient or something if you want to, but that's what a scalar is. And what's a matrix? Rectangular array of numbers arranged in rows and columns. Period. Look it up. If you didn't catch all that, look it up in your notes. The numbers in the matrix are called entries or elements. Yep, entries or elements. Looks like on our big word problem here, some of the lines in my chart did not print very well, but that's okay, you can put them in. All the labels are there, so we're okay. Here we go. You are about to, this sounds familiar, you are about to take a test that contains questions of type A worth 10 points and questions of type B worth 25 points. You must do at least 3 A's, but you can't do more than 12. That's a fixed interval. Do you hear it? A has to be, whatever A is, it has to be in between 3 and 12. So let's call A X, we'll let the A questions be X. And they have to be between 3 and 12? You have to do at least 4 B's, but you can't do more than 15. So B is Y, Y has to be between, what did I say, 4 and 15?
Yes.
You can do no more than 20 questions. Was that total number? Now, there are a couple of blanks in the chart. We're never worried about that. As long as every number is in the chart, we're done with the chart. Okay? So now, what am I doing in this problem? Am I maxing or minning? Read it.
Your maximize.
Must you do to maximize your score? How do I calculate my score? After I've taken this test, how is the teacher going to come up with my score?
10x plus 25.
Exactly. If I do one of each, I get a 35. Now, what am I going to graph? What are my constraints? Well, remember, if your problem has a fixed interval, and they don't all have fixed intervals, we did a bunch of problems that didn't. If there is a fixed interval, I will tell you, it will be in the chart, it will say fixed interval, but they are always constraints. So I'm automatically gonna have to graph this and this. Fixed intervals are always constraints. If you're supposed to be doing a fixed interval, I will tell you in your chart. Now, are there any other constraints?
Can't be more than
X plus Y, whatever, however many questions I do, it has to be less than or equal to 20? That's it. Now, we've talked about this before. If you put X greater than 0, Y greater than 0 down here, that's gonna be fine. I'm not gonna mark it wrong, but it isn't necessary because it's already covered right here. But if you want to include it, you can. All right, quit yawning. Now I'm ready to graph. All right, how do I graph a fixed interval? Yoo-hoo, we have a test next time. This is X, so I'm gonna count over 3. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I'll go vertical lines up from those points. And where will I shade? Remember, these guys are always gonna get shaded in between them. Alright, now I'll do this one in red. Same way, only now I'm gonna be on the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And these lines will be horizontal. And where are they shaded? In between. So right now on your paper, you're shaded right in here. Between purple, between red. And now I'm gonna throw this one in. This is gonna be a different kind of line because it has 2 letters. So I'm gonna have a dot on the x-axis at 20. And a dot on the y-axis also at 20. And I'm gonna connect those, hopefully. so hard for me. There we go. And where is that guy shaded? Under green? So I'm in between purple, in between red, and under green. So it looks to me like I am outlined by this shape right here. This is called my feasible region. Would everyone agree with that? Now I need my points. And there are 1, 2, 3, 5 of them. And none of them I know, so I'm gonna figure them all out, but it's gonna be easy. This guy right here, you can't tell me this point, you're hopeless. This is 3, comma, 4. This is not 3, comma, 0. This one's 3, comma, 0, but it's not one of my black ones. This is 3, comma, 4. What's this one? Same thing. 12, comma, 4. What about this one here, red and purple crossing right here? So this one is 3:15. Now, those are easy, guys. Everybody got that? They're right on the corners. Your own graph paper, they're right there on that point. Now, these are not so easy, but they're still easy. If you look at this point right here, what do you know about that point? You know X is 12. But it's on the green line. And on the green line, X and Y have to add up to 20. So Y has to be 8. And then similarly, this guy, what do you know about him? Y is 15. And if Y is 15, then X has to be 5. Now we're making sure that when we write our ordered pairs, we're doing X, comma, Y. Okay? Now what? My answer is going to be one of those. So what do I do now? Find the one that gives me the most points, right? So, option 1 never fails. Simply put all of these points in here and pick the big one. Option 2 is you can actually get rid of some of these if you want. Think about what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the most points. In both of these options, you're doing 4 B's, which is going to give you a higher score, doing 3 X's or 12 X's. Doesn't that make sense to you? If it does, you can weed those out. Otherwise, just do them all. Do them all. Are there any others I can weed out? How about right here? 3 and 15 or 5 and 15? Won't 5 and 15 be bigger? And then here, 12 and 4 and 12 and 8. Which is going to be bigger? 12 and 8? So really, the only 2 I have to do are those, but feel free to do them all. So 10 times 12 plus 25 plus 8. This one gives me a score of 320 if I did that right. And 10 times 5 plus 15 times 8. This one I got 170. Did I make, oh, I did 25. 10 times 5 plus 25 times 15. This one was 425. So you're not done until you answer the question. What is happening here, man? And we answer the question by writing one sentence. Starts with a capital letter, subject and verb. We should take, or I should take, he should take. Aiden should take 5 question A's and 15 question B's, so he can score 425. Got it? Got it. Okay, one more problem. And then we'll do the one from the last one we did. It's just like this one. All right, so here we go. Remember, this should be an easy question for you, but you have got to write down the matrix you're putting in. And in this case, it's going to be E, F, G, H. So E, F, G, H. E, F, G, H. E, no F. G, H. No E, no F, G, H. There we go. So if I didn't mess it up, that's the matrix that's going into my calculator. Okay, is that all right with everybody? So now you're going to RREF it, and a new matrix is going to come out. And you need to write down that new matrix too. Okay, so the new matrix, I'm going to put this in, second matrix, edit. What are the dimensions here? 4 by 5. You got to tell it that. See if I rigged this one. Yeah. I got 4, -3, 2, 0. Everybody get that? Anybody get that? Now, let's make sure all the practice test problems I rigged. What if I don't rig the test question? Well, you're gonna do everything the same, but what's gonna happen over here? You're gonna get yicky decimals, 0.63815, and they're gonna go on and on and on. So we don't write down the decimals. We hit math, frac, enter, and up will come the fractions, and that's what we write down. Okay? Now go back to practice test 2 and do the last problem that we didn't do last time, we ran out of time. Do the last problem. Doing this exactly. Let's make sure everybody can. We'll talk about what the answer is. And then we'll be ready just to answer some general questions. Let's see if I have anything to hand back. you will discover is super rigged. The one you're doing right now, super rigged. You'll know what I mean when you get your answer. Really, the only tricky part about these is making sure the matrix is set up right, make sure you put zeros in.
You all can do it, probably. I wasn't very tricky at all. Sometimes I get
Oh, that's not good. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the right answer. That is not right.
Yeah, I did not get 1, 2, 3, 4.
Which one is that?
I don't know what I did the last one. I remember that the last one.
No, practice test 2, you should have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, okay, is that what you got?
And I did it wrong.
Oh, I was looking at the original matrix, yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4?
Do we have?
Fix it, yep, you put a number in wrong. And usually that means you got your 0 in the wrong spot, or you forgot a negative. So double check that.
Are you looking for the right word?
I'm looking for you to write this right here. So when I grade this problem, here's a 4th, here's a 4th, here's a 4th, here's a 4th. You below any of that? Okay, all right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hand back your last test now, and I want you to look at it. We do have office hours